Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. This is your host, Matt Brown. I hope everyone's having an amazing Friday morning to this point. It is 10:55 a.m. as of recording this video, so I hope everyone's having a great morning so far. I know I am. It's my dad's birthday today, so happy birthday, Dad. Figure out shout you out on the pod. Why not? So today we're going to be going over the NFL or predicting my NFL division winners. Every division in football, we're going to be predicting the winners. First, though, I know you can't really see it on the camera. You can see the Patriots. Maybe I can hold that up a little bit. I can't stand up because the camera literally doesn't focus when I stand up and show it. I tried before I recorded this. I have an Ezekiel Elliott Patriots jersey on today for this Friday. Especially predicting my division winners. You guys will see here in a minute. I think I'm probably one of 4 people on the entire planet, maybe in the universe, to have a Patriots Ezekiel Elliott jersey. It's not even a jersey. They don't even make his jersey. They never even made a jersey for him. I had to get like a custom made shirt, I think, for it. So anyone who's out there who questions whether I'm a real Patriots fan, yes. People who are not fans of a team would not buy this, I promise. I also have a Patriots Cam Newton jersey. I don't know if you guys are the same way. Actually, no, definitely are. People definitely are. I love when players, by the end of their career, like Cam Newton when he came to the Patriots, Zeke. I'm trying to think of, because I'm a lot of Ravens fans on here. Like when OBJ came to the Ravens a couple years ago, like they're at the end of their career, you know, they're not going to be what they were, I don't know, 5+ years before they came there, like in their prime. They're just kind of leaving their prime, but they have a little bit of juice left. And they give you those highlight plays every now and then. And it's just so exciting to watch it. Excuse me. It's so exciting to watch it. And I don't know, something about those older players that their peak, they were like Hall of Fame level at their peak. Maybe not Hall of Famers, but they played like it in their peak for a little bit. Seeing them on their team, I don't know. It does something. I just love watching it. So I also have like a Kendrick Bourne jersey, even though he's just been like okay on the Patriots, and a lot more people have his jersey than those other 2 I mentioned. I have a picture with Rob Gronkowski in my Cam Newton jersey. So, you know, I don't know. I love that. Something about it. So today, our main topic is going to be, I'm going to be predicting the NFL division winners. So let's start off here with the AFC East. I have my New England Patriots at number 1. Look up their schedule real quick. Look up New England Patriots schedule. And you will see, I don't know how this team will finish under at least 11 wins. It is so bad. Their schedule is so bad. I just, especially with the division kind of falling apart a little bit, which I'll explain here in a second. I had them finishing 12-5, tying with the Bills at 12-5, which I had the Bills number 2. I don't see how the Patriots don't finish at least 11-6 or 12-5. And I'm not saying that because I got this on, I'm a fan. I'm just like legitimately, their team has gotten way better. Drake May in training camp hasn't missed a pass in 2 days as of July 25th. Has not missed a pass in 2 days. He has been tearing alive. He's been tearing apart that defense. If that's a sign of what's to come, that team is going to be scary coming into this year. I'm telling you. Yeah, because they have some serious talent on that roster now. And they have a real head coach finally. Number 2, the Bills. I have them tying 12-5 again. Maybe it could flip-flop. They go 1-2, but I do think the Patriots are going to have the better divisional record. I think they're going to sweep the Jets. Because they always seem to manhandle the Jets. You know, they got manhandled last year, like week 3 against the Jets or something, or like week 2. They've only lost to the Jets like twice in all years. It's like manhandled the Jets. I think they're going to be 2-0 against the Jets. They're being 1-1 against the Dolphins and 1-1 against the Bills. maybe in 2-0 against them. They always seem to struggle against Miami, but I think Miami's going to fall apart this year. Which, to my point, 3, I have Miami at 7-10. They're going to fall apart for sure. Tyreek, I think, is going to be gone by the middle of the season. The offensive line is in the worst state I think it's been in since Tua's been there. Just already not a good sign because Tua can't stay healthy to save his life. But again, it's not necessarily it's not his fault at all, but it's just his body. He just can't stay healthy. The defense is depleted. I know they got Minkah Fitzpatrick back, which is nice. But Mike McDaniel on the hot seat. There's just way too many hurdles to overcome for this team right now. Like, it's a lot. There's no way they're going to be able to overcome all of them. And even if they do, I have them maybe finishing 10-7 if they complete all those. I think Mike McDaniel will be going. I think it's going. And again, I think 7-10 is being a little generous for the Dolphins. But, there's some legitimate players there. But again, Tyreek, I don't think will be there by the middle of the season, especially if Tua gets hurt. I feel like it's going to go really bad for the Dolphins this year. That's it. I've been maxing out like 7-10. I'll put him there being generous, but that's if everything goes right. 4 at the Jets at 5-12. I know I just reported the story about Justin Fields' toe injury yesterday. Apparently it's not severe. So we'll see. Again, I think their offensive line is actually going to be pretty good. They have Garrett Wilson. Like, they had bits and pieces. Sauce Gardner was putrid last year. Like, actually putrid. And I'm not just saying that. Like, he really was. He's one of the worst. I think he's one of the worst rated quarterbacks in football for multiple weeks at a time. He couldn't tackle at all. Like, he actually could not make a tackle. It was terrible to watch. So, again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It was a weird year for the Jets last year. They had high expectations, and Saleh ended up getting fired at the beginning of the year, and everything just kind of fell apart around them. Between the Hassan Reddick contract, too, he wouldn't sign. It was just really weird for the Jets. But if he's not good this upcoming year, the Jets have a hard decision to make about Sauce Gardner, because that's not good to fall off that fast. Yeah, and I couldn't remember if I said I had them finishing at 5-12, but I do. So that's my AFC East Division rankings. Again, the Patriots are 1-12-5. The Bills are 12-5. The Dolphins are 7-10, and the Jets at 5-12. Now we have the AFC North. I have the Ravens at number 1 at 13-4. It's almost debating to put them 14-3, but that's a really high number to predict. Again, I think they always they flop in the division, and they just lose games like they should win. The Raiders last year, Pittsburgh, they outplay Pittsburgh, but then Pittsburgh just gets some crazy play against them. And yeah, they choke. Like they choke at least 2 or 3 games a season, at least. I think they have the best roster in the NFL. Between the receiving core, which I think Zay Flowers, again, it's going to be really good. Rashad Bateman's taken that step up, which is something that was a concern going into last year, but that he did, which is good for the Ravens. DeAndre Hopkins is a really good signing, even if he's older now. Just a threat to have out there. Again, I mentioned a couple of days ago, that's the receiver they needed, is that jump up, go and get it, just great hands receiver. The thing about D-Hop that makes him so interesting is that he's never been known for his route running and his speed. It's just throwing the ball in, and he just catches it. No matter what, he just catches the ball. So that's why I even think regarding D-Hop's age, I think he'll be fine, to be honest with you. He's never really relied on his athleticism. Maybe his vertical, but he's 2 years out of a 1,000-yard season with Will Levis. So we'll see. That's NL. Pittsburgh, I actually finishing second at 10-7. TJ Watt completely changed the trajectory of their prediction for me. If it wasn't for him, I'd have been finishing 6-11 or 7-10. Actually, he is the difference between winning 3 more games. He makes that game-saving, game-winning strip sack, the sack, just the pressures, everything. He does that. You can go back and you can find at least 3, 4, maybe probably more wins for the Steelers because of a TJ Watt play, of a significant play he made. So that's the big difference for me. And again, their defense is learning. As much as I don't like the Steelers, and I know I have a majority of a Ravens fan base on here. Kids and they have a really good defense. They're aging though. Cameron Haywood's getting really old, but TJ Watt's getting up there a little bit, but he's still in his prime. But yeah, their defense is loaded. Jalen Ramsey too, and he's getting a little older, but he's just going to be a factor out there. And then finishing 10-7 at 3, I have Cincinnati at 9-8. Cincinnati, at this point, should only be getting better, but it's the whole Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson situation is only getting worse. On top of that, their defense is arguably worse than it was last year now. Take those two away. Even though I know Shamar Stewart didn't play there last year, but it couldn't be any worse than what they had on the line. Really, when your best pass rusher is gone, or you just don't have him signed, he's probably going to be gone. Sam Hubbard retired, who, again, he's not necessarily like an all-pro level player, but he's a good player. So you really have to worry about Cincinnati. Again, their offense is going to be juggernaut. They're going to average a ton of points a game, but they're also going to give up even more points a game. So yeah, that's going to be rough for Cincinnati, I think. And again, this is as of July 25th, 2025. So maybe things change. Maybe they're signed in 5 days from now, and I would change my prediction if they got Henderson and the Shamar Stewart situation under control. I think they could go 10-7, and I'd put them probably over Pittsburgh. But as of now, no, to be honest with you. And then I have the Browns finishing 5-12. The whole quarterback situation is crazy. Between Joe Flacco, they're counting on to be their savior again, like it was a couple of years ago. And I think he's just going to be good because he's been in the league so long, and he just has a lot of experience, so he'll be good if he plays. The Deshaun Watson situation, I don't even have to explain. It's probably the worst situation in NFL history. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, do they even really want Shedeur Sanders? Or are they just kind of tormenting him at this point? I actually legitimately have no idea. So, again, kind of like the Jets, they have bits and pieces. That's why I have them finishing around the same. Myles Garrett, Mason Graham, I liked him. They haven't even signed their second-round running back, Judkins. Jerry Jeudy finally broke out last year. They have some pieces on the offensive line. So they have bits and pieces, but they won't be able to put it all together. And there's just too much going on for it to be able to succeed. And then the AFC South, arguably the worst division in football, one of them for sure. I have Houston finishing a 1-10-7. I feel pretty comfortable with that. CJ Stroud, people are kind of not necessarily taking him out of the mix, but aren't talking about him as much. He had that little bit of a sophomore slump last year, but the team kind of fell apart around him. The offensive line really regressed badly. Stephon Diggs got hurt. Nico Collins was kind of battling injuries all year. Even then, they still got to the divisional round and was in the game against the Chiefs for the most part. So I have them finishing at 10-7. I think they'll be fine. Again, their biggest question mark is their offensive line. Then I had Jacksonville at 8-9. Again, Jacksonville's bits and pieces. My biggest question mark is Trevor Lawrence. The question has always been his drive to really play. There was an article when he got drafted. Someone asked him if he cared about winning. He said he doesn't really care about playing. If he have to play game, he said he didn't care. So yeah, that's worrisome when your quarterback's like that. He's making a ton of money. Why wouldn't he care? I guess we'll see. Again, they have bits and pieces. Travis Hunter, I think, will be really good. Trayvon Walker is seeming to finally kind of come into his own. So, again, Liam Cohen's kind of a question mark. I don't know how he'll be as a head coach. I don't think anyone really knows. So we'll see. Indy at 6-10. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones is really bad. I've seen the videos of them in training camp yesterday. It was really bad. Um, yeah, I don't know. Indy's falling apart to me. I think Steichen will be gone. Jim Irsay passing away. I don't really know what's going on with the ownership situation right now. I honestly, I think they're going to want to wipe the slate clean coming into this next season. Honestly, and Anthony Richardson will be there next year. I think this season is going to fall apart for the Colts. I do. And then at number 4 in Tennessee at 4-13, even they had an interview or press with the owners of the team, general manager. They even said, you know, or so someone asked them a question if they could win the Super Bowl, and they just kind of looked at each other like, and then they said they made an honest answer like, we're just focusing on trying to get better. Tennessee's gonna suck. I mean, their roster just is not very good. Cam Ward, again, we'll see. As long as he just goes out there and shows glimpses of hope, that'll be an A+ grade in my opinion. Yeah, they're a rebuilding team. They are. There's not much to expect from them. The AFC West, one of the toughest divisions in football. I do still have Kansas City finishing 12-5. As long as you just have Mahomes, they're going to win games. Their division's tough, though. I was actually almost debating putting the number 2 team, which I was winning in a minute, at number 1. But Mahomes, Kelsey's age, he's not prime Travis Kelce anymore. He'll be productive, but I don't really know what's going on with Rashee Rice right now. I think he'll play maybe. Let's see. It seems like he is, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with that. Xavier Worthy kind of broke out. And you have Andy Reid and Mahomes. Your defense is still really good. They drafted pretty good too. Drafted that offensive lineman, Ohio State, Josh Simmons. It'll be fun. And they re-signed some guys. They lost Joe Tooney, but they kind of made up for it, re-signing some guys and drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. So it'll be fun. Then I have Denver at 11-6. Denver's roster was ranked number 6. They're going to be really good. They are. Again, I think Bo Nix has reached a ceiling. I think people kind of forget that he was the most pro-ready quarterback coming out of the draft. You know, I think we've kind of seen the best of him, which he made the playoffs in his rookie year with an even worse roster than they had this year. Like, it was still a pretty good roster, but their roster is even better, you know? So I think they'll be 11-6. I think they'll be in the playoffs. You know, I think they're gonna be a really good team. Then I have the Chargers at 10-7. Yeah, the receiving core really worries me. I like Lad McConkey. Quentin Johnson's incredibly inconsistent. Again, they have a great offensive line. I do like their running back room. I think their defense is going to be good. They just don't have enough firepower on offense. Again, one Justin Herbert injury, he misses 3-4 weeks, that team's done. And you can say that for any team, I guess, but they really can't afford to make mistakes because they're a team that is not going to be able to play from behind. And that was their main concern coming into this year, which they said they would have fixed. Mike Williams retiring kind of just threw that out of the window, to be honest with you. Then I have the Raiders at 6-11. They improved from last year, but their division's tough, and they just don't really compete with the level of talent in their division yet. I think next year we might be talking about a different story, though, to be honest with you. I think they're just getting back into the swing of things this year, so I think they'll be better. They could even finish with 7 wins, but their division's just a little bit better than them. That's all. And a lot of the AFC. Then we're going to go to the NFC. I have the NFC East. I have Philly at 13-4. I have them as the best team in the NFC. Again, just loaded with talent. Strong back guys, still Saquon, a healthy Jalen Hurts. Yeah, that team's going to be fun. I don't really have to go too much into it, to be honest with you. They're just loaded. The Commanders, I have at 11-6. again, the Terry McLaurin contract situations worry me a little bit. That could go down to 10-7 if they don't resign him. But I think he's going to be there. So they saw them at 11-6. They signed some guys. Again, I think the Von Miller signings a whole lot of nothing. He didn't only get a sack last year. He's old. Von Miller's been good like 3 or 4 years. It's been a long time since Von Miller's been good. So signings like that, it's like good to have players like that on your team, I guess, but it's not really going to do anything. The Cowboys, I have it 9-8. The Micah Parsons situation is a little worrisome. Dak coming back from his injury, I don't know. We'll see. He's aging a little bit. He started CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens will be fine, but Brian Schottenheimer, nobody knows. Jerry Jones, nobody knows. No one's known for a while now, but especially this year, their running back room is still bad. Miles Sanders has not been good in a long time at this point. Can't stay healthy. Javonte Williams can't stay healthy either. When he played last year, he was not very good at all. Jayon Blue is very lazy apparently, and the Cowboys are worried because he has an extremely lazy work ethic, which is not a good thing for a running back who wants to be your franchise running back. That's not good. And then on the Giants at 5-12, I was debating maybe putting them at 6-11. I just don't know what's going on with their quarterback room. You have Russell Wilson who doesn't throw the ball further than 5 yards. No one has a clue about Jackson Dart. I'm not too high on him. I think he was a little bit of a reach. It's kind of those guys who all of a sudden, by like a week before the draft, all of a sudden was a first round. Like people were talking about him being a first round pick, Zach Wilson-ish. And Jameis Winston's either going to throw it 50 yards down the field or he'll throw 4 interceptions. And Tommy DeVito is just there. So, again, no disrespect to Tommy Cutlets, but dude, I don't know if he'll be there by the start of the year. They have 3 completely different kinds of quarterbacks. I just genuinely have no idea what's going on. I like Malik Neighbors. They have Andrew Thomas. They have pieces on the offensive line. Pretty good pieces on defense as well. I just in they're one of the toughest divisions in football, and their quarterback room, they may end up changing quarterbacks like 3 times this season. So I legitimately have no idea what's going to happen. The NFC North, I had Detroit at 13-4. Again, roster's loaded with talent. Guys coming back on defense, which is what they desperately needed last year. They probably would have made the Super Bowl if they had those guys, and they're back. I know Ben Johnson's gone, Aaron Glenn's gone, but Dan Campbell's still there, and they'll be fine. They have really high-level players that know how to win, so they'll be fine. They may not have the crazy creative plays like they had, but they'll make it work. They'll be good. Green Bay, I had a 12-5. Jordan Love is going to be healthy finally going into this year. He was not healthy at all last year, and they still finished 11-6 with a 1-5 division record, which is pretty incredible, honestly. Again, that division's really tough, but the only thing that kind of worries me about Green Bay, like I said a couple of days ago too, is just their secondary kind of worries me a little bit, but they just, again, they're not a team that has elite players you can name right off the bat. They're just very well-rounded and well-coached. And then, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, you do have guys, Xavier McKinney, that are all pro level guys, but people that don't necessarily rank them up there with the Saquons, the stuff like that. But they're very, very, very good players. Then I have 3 at Chicago at 10-7. I'm starting to kind of fall on Chicago a little bit because Caleb Williams has apparently been not good to start off training camp. I don't read too much into training camp. That's why I don't take down and take up records due to training camp. But Ben Johnson had to pull him aside yesterday because he wasn't calling the right plays. Again, just not following through. He was inaccurate, messing up plays. He doesn't have an excuse this year, and we'll know by this year we'll know by the middle of this year whether he's the guy or not. It doesn't take long in the NFL to know whether you're the guy anymore. Again, Jared Goff was he was 0-7 in his rookie year. Had got Sean McVay. They were great, you know. It just, Ben Johnson upgrades on the offensive line. There's no excuse for Caleb Williams this year. He starts holding the ball too long again, makes kind of boneheaded plays. You're going to have to worry, Chicago fans. That's all. But I am falling on them a little bit, but I'm going to stick to what I said before. I do think Caleb Williams is going to have a good year. Training camp just started, so we'll see. Then on the Vikings at 9-8. JJ McCarthy, no one really has any idea. And he's kind of a handoff merchant in Michigan. So we'll see. He had a good preseason last year when he played that game against the Raiders. I guess we'll see. Again, they have talent. He's still in the Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Their defense is really good. Still Brian Flores coaching that defense. I love Kevin O'Connell. The quarterback's the biggest question mark, but I could see that team finishing better than that. So we'll see. Then the NFC South, I had Tampa Bay finishing 11-6. Again, kind of a weak division. And I think Tampa has some of the best coaching in the division. I know some people don't want Todd Bowles there half the time anymore, but again, Todd Bowles has done a pretty good job with that team. Baker is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Yes, I said it. Loaded on offense. Tristan Wirfs being out worries me a little bit, but he'll be fine. He's going to come back. So then I have Atlanta at 9-8. I don't like Raheem Morris as a coach. I don't think Raheem Morris is a good coach at all. He lost them a lot of games last year, and I think by the middle of this season, they're going to be calling for Raheem Morris's job. To be honest with you, that team has too much talent, and it seems like they underperform. And bad timeout calls from Raheem Morris. Their defense was not good, and they had one of the worst pass rushing units in the league last year with a defensive coach. They could have had Bill Belichick. It's a Raheem Morris. So I think karma sucks. And then I have Carolina finishing 7-10. I think Carolina is going to take a step up this year. Bryce Young played really good. Again, I just don't think their roster's quite there yet. I think they need another draft, another offseason to really make that push into that 9-10 win territory. But they're definitely going to show some improvement this year for sure, because they did at the end of last year. Then at 4, then I just said finally Carolina. I don't know if I said that or not, but if I did, excuse me, because I had New Orleans finishing 3-14. That's low, but I really, really think with Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler and just really no one else, like Kamara's kind of getting old. Kamara's not going to bring me to 10 wins or even 5 or 6. Again, they signed Chase Young for a ton of money. They're still in salary cap hell. What's his name? It's at the top. It's at the top, man. Their head coach they just signed this year. This is the Eagles offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. No one really knows. Again, it's a tank year for New Orleans. No one's expecting anything from it. Then the NFC West, to round off my NFL division winners, I have the Rams at 11-6. The Rams just have a lot going for them right now. If they can stay healthy, the Rams are going to be forced to be reckoned with, for sure. A lot of really good players on offense. That defense is young and fast. Sean McVay, that team will be really good. Then a surprise one, I actually had them at the bottom of my dive teams. I have the 49ers at 11-6 time with them. Their schedule really sucks. I didn't realize how bad it was. I had a friend text me yesterday about the 49ers. And then I looked at their schedule. I was like, wow, gosh, their schedule is really bad. I knew they had a weaker schedule going into the year, but I didn't realize it was that bad. It's like, no, my Patriots almost bad. Again, Their injuries, why I had them on the dive list, their injuries going into the season worries me. Can McCaffrey stay healthy to age of the roster? But I think they have another year before some of those guys really, really look like they're out of their prime. But if those guys are healthy, Brock Purdy will look good. But again, Brock Purdy's not a quarterback to me that can overcome the injuries. So this could be one that really comes back to bite me, but we'll see. I think they'll stay healthy, and I think they'll actually be good. I just hope that one doesn't come back. Then I Seattle at 9-8. I like Darnold, but he can make a lot of boneheaded mistakes. And now he has a defensive head coach. He doesn't have Kevin O'Connell in his ear. Again, I like Mike McDaniel as a coach, but, or did I say Mike McDonald? Sorry. Mike McDonald as a coach. I don't know. It's just Seattle just feels so mid to me. Like, I think they're going to be good, but they just feel like a really big team. I don't know. And then Arizona, I'm at 8-9. That division is going to be very competitive. There's not a team, maybe besides the Rams, that like really stick out. We could say the 49ers if they're healthy. Arizona just doesn't have enough to compete with those teams, to be honest with you. I like Marvin Harrison going into his second year. Kyler Murray's plays good for 10, 11 out of the 17 weeks of the year. Then he just has 6 really bad games. 6 or 7 really bad games. And they just, I don't know, they don't really have the talent to compete with those teams to me. So that rounds off my NFL division winners. I know I have some controversial picks in there for sure, but yeah, that's who I got so far. I feel like some of those could come back to bite me for sure. I do feel confident about a lot of my picks. Again, it's still early. We're still in late July, so things could change going into the season. But as of this moment, these are my NFL division winners and division predictions. And I just want to get into one more topic. We're already a little over half an hour into the video. The Christian Wilkins situation yesterday, them cutting Christian Wilkins, had to do with, I don't know, let me pull up. I actually had it sitting here. Of course. Okay. I know he was placed on the physically unable to perform list before being released. You know, Christian Wilkins over a year ago was one of the better pass rushers in the league. You know, he was a high level player. There's talks about him going to Buffalo. You know, there was a lot. He was going to go to a contending team. That's why I was kind of surprised he went to the Raiders. But, you know, could you imagine if the Raiders had a healthy Christian Wilkins going into this year? Really, they're really worried about his health. I don't know. It's a big surprise they cut him. It's on a really big contract. I guess they're really worried about his health. They must be, because to cut a player like that only 1 year after signing him, you must really, really be concerned. So, again, someone's going to sign him. There's going to be a contending team that signs him for sure. If he plays, I'm sure he'll be good. But the Raiders don't think so. So, who knows? I have no idea what's going on with that. So it's kind of a brief thing about the Christian Wilkins situation. We'll just see as time goes on. It was just a big shocker yesterday, to be honest with you. But mainly in this video today, I just wanted to do the NFL division winners, my predictions for the entirety of the NFL's division. So, yeah, like I said earlier, I hope that does not come back to bite me, because that worries me a little bit, some of it. But we're going to be ending off today's video. And for the week, again, thank you guys so much for your support throughout my first week of podcasting. It's only up from here. I know I definitely could make some improvements. You know, with my some of my editing, stuff like that. I'm getting there and working on it every day. Trust me. So, again, just thank you guys so much for supporting me. My TikTok videos are blowing up. Of it, like last time I checked this wing, I was like 3,500 views on the one. It could be even more. About 3,000 on one of them. These are just within the last 2 days. So, again, we're off to an amazing start. It takes time. And trust me, I'm here for the long run. This is a dream and a passion of mine. Thank you guys so much for making it come true to this point. And I will see you guys on Monday with more news, predictions, and everything here on the Talk of the Town podcast.